Hope for the best, but prepare for the worst to supersize and grow your business. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. And our idiom today is, of course, hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. This is another one of those idioms, which is also a proverb that has been around since BC. That's before Christ, not before COVID, which means since 46 BC, Cicero actually used a similar expression that means, we're always looking forward to things going our way, but in case they don't, make sure you've got a backup plan, or make sure you've got some contingencies or options available to you so that you're not SOL. One of my favorite expressions from my teenage years, SOL. And you can figure out what SOL is if you've never heard that expression. Got my granddaughter's magic wand today because she's hanging out with me, and I love getting out her toys and things when I know that she's going to be over to visit. So I'm hoping for the best, that we have an amazing visit, but of course I'm planning for contingencies and planning for the worst. This idiom was also, over the centuries, has become more and more popular. It was actually presented in a play by some people whose names I personally can't pronounce or remember in 1562 to Queen Elizabeth I, as well as Benjamin Disraeli, the prime minister and author, and I think he wrote poems, I'm not sure, but he was a British prime minister twice, not once but twice, and in 1833 he used a similar expression. So what does it mean? It means that if I'm going and I'm looking for a job, for example, or what college I'm going to go to, I'm going to hope I get my first choice, hope I get to work for the company and I get a job offer from the one I really, really want the most. Guess what? I'm not just going to interview with one company and then say, okay, I didn't get that job, therefore my life is over, I'm not going to work at all. I'm going to go on welfare or something. How ridiculous, right? We hope for the best, but we plan for the worst. Same with college. I only applied to 2 colleges and fortunately got into both. Ended up going to one with my friend who had broken her back. But I didn't do a very good job putting out a bunch of college applications and doing that. I just hoped for the best, and I hoped that I would get accepted at one of the 2 colleges I applied for, and they're both good private Catholic colleges, and so I ended up getting into both of them. But I had a backup plan. If I didn't get into either of those colleges, what was I going to do? Of course, I had a backup plan. I would have had to apply to more colleges, or heaven forbid, I would have had to go to the nearest state college, and that was worse than back in the day. We always thought that was terrible, but I ended up actually going to that university for a little while. I actually hoped for the best, planned for the worst, then life gets in the way, and I ended up going to 5 different colleges and universities throughout my career, before I finally graduated from college. And then I had gone to so many colleges, I ended up with 3 degrees. So it was kind of funny. I mean, funny to me, not to my parents or other people in my family so much, but I thought it was pretty entertaining. So we hope for the best, we plan for the worst. We be optimistic, but we take into account that hard times might happen. We need to, and if COVID has done nothing else for us and for our business, it's shown us we got to have some emergency action plans. We have to have some contingency plans. We have to be flexible enough to know that even the unimaginable, like a pandemic, can happen, and we have to know what we're going to do about it. We don't just throw in the towel and say, okay, pandemic happened, my municipality shut down my business, therefore I quit. I'm just out of business, and, life is over. I'm going to have to go get a job, which is really hard to find during a pandemic, or I'm going to have to, depend on welfare again for my well-being. Well, no, we don't do that, right? We have backup plans. Now, I will admit that I always had emergency action plans or backup plans or contingency plans in my business, but not really for a pandemic. We had, what if there was a terrorist act? What if there was this or that? What if there was a natural disaster due to tornado, flood, whatever appropriate in your area, or hurricane, or blizzard? We have blizzards in our plans. Or, road closures or whatever, but I never once had pandemic. Now, I guarantee everybody's emergency action plans going forward are going to have, what do we do if there's a pandemic and we get shut down? What do we do if our people get sick? And all the other things that we've had to consider because we actually hit some of the worst and craziest times that we could ever imagine. So hope for the best. Be prepared for the worst. How are you dealing with that now versus before the pandemic? How were you planning for it before the pandemic? Or are you one of those people that says, hey, I only have plan A. I'm making plan A happen no matter what, because that's a school of thought as well. No matter what, I'm making this happen. I say yes, we have that for our vision and our goals, and our big vision and our long-term vision and what it is we want to do and create in the world. Our plan A, our big picture, our vision doesn't change because it's core and central to us, our reason for having a business in the first place. But how we do it, that's where the contingency plans come in place. That's where we need to have options and plan B, C, D, E, F for if this happens, I'm going to do that. If that happens, I'm going to do that. Because guess what? A, B, C, D, E, and F in the world are always going to be changing. And we want to be prepared. Doesn't mean we overplan or we freeze and be afraid and don't do anything. It just means we know that there's always an option. There's always something we can do no matter what happens. So share in the comments below your experience with this particular idiom. Hope for the best, plan for the worst. I got to believe people have great stories coming out of 2020 and heading into 2021 about how this idiom has impacted and maybe positively changed their life. All right, catching around with another interesting idiom. What does it mean? Where does it come from? And how might you use it to grow your business right now? Have an awesome day.